What are the most important techniques for you to work, and what are the most important areas that usually an acupuncturist will have to work on to help an athlete? Hi and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, again, we are not in my usual studio and we are in another hotel room. This time I'm in Milan and I'm here accompanying a Portuguese athlete that's coming for a very big fight here in Milan. I've been accompanying this athlete through all his training camp, and it was this preparation and this event that made me think of the topic for this video. And today I want to talk about how an acupuncturist can help an athlete preparing to an event, and what are the most important techniques for you to work, and what are the most important areas that usually an acupuncturist will have to work on to help an athlete. In this case, my athlete is a fighter, he's a kickboxer, and he's coming here to Milan for a very big event, a once-in-a-lifetime fight, so he wanted to do everything right, so we've done acupuncture through all of the training camp. I work with a lot of different types of athletes, from fighters to runners to rowers, although my biggest pool of experience is with fighters, but I treated a wide range of high-level athletes, and I can, from my experience, tell you that there are three major areas where an acupuncturist can really help them. Well, the first one is the most obvious area, which is treating injuries. So it's very common that during high-level training the athletes will get hurt, sometimes actual injuries, sometimes just small discomfort, so not enough to call an injury, but they won't be 100%. So especially when we're talking about fighters, well, I got hit in my knee, I twisted my shoulder, and in this situation there's one technique that is very important for you to work with, and that is the balance method. The balance method is an amazing technique to treat pain and inflammation, and that's what you want to do in this kind of situations. So what the athlete needs from you is to solve the pain, to solve the inflammation, so he can get back to training or so he can play. So if the athlete comes to you with pain, I think the most important area that you can work on is the balance method. If you still don't work with the balance method, I advise you to look through my channel. I talk a lot about it. It's one of my main techniques, and I also have a course on the balance method that you can check here on the cards. The course is available in English and in Portuguese, so check it out. And if you want to work with high-level athletes, this is a must-have skill. Another very important area that an acupuncturist can help an athlete with is mobility and injury prevention. And for this, my number one technique is moxibustion. You can work with many different kinds of moxibustion. In my opinion, the best one is the ontake and the direct moxa from Japanese acupuncture. You can see here a video where I work on the shoulder of a judo player, and I talk a little bit about the ontake. If you want to learn more about the ontake, let me know on the comments. But this is a fantastic tool if you work with athletes. Before I used the ontake, I used the cups for this. I still use the cups sometimes, but in my opinion, the ontake is even better. And when do I use this? When the athlete comes and he tells me, well, it's not that I'm injured, but maybe I have a sore shoulder, a sore back. I feel that I'm losing mobility, and you go through the muscle and you can feel that he has muscle knots. Maybe you feel that he might need myofascial release. You can also do this with manual therapy, but it's much more painful for the athlete, and a lot of times after the treatment the athlete will be even more sore for a few days, which will harm his training. When we work with the moxa, you don't get this nasty side effect of him being more sore, and a lot of times the myofascial release and the muscle release will be even quicker and even deeper than you can do with manual therapy or even with acupuncture. So this is amazing for athletes because a lot of times when they're doing strength work, or again when I work with fighters and they are doing the hard part of their camp where they're sparring a lot or lifting a lot of heavy weights, we see that a lot of times their shoulders get stuck, their backs get very sore and filled with muscle knots. You can also get them on their thighs, and the moxa will be an amazing tool for this. So if you still don't work with it and you really want to work with high-level athletes, I advise you to look into it, because this is a very good technique. And finally, the athletes are looking for performance enhancing. And here I'm not talking about doping, I'm not talking about steroids, but I'm talking about optimizing their own system. And with acupuncture, we can do that. If you work with herbs, you can also do that, but then you run a higher risk of running into forbidden substances, because a lot of times our herbs aren't as pure as they should be, and the athletes might pop during anti-doping control. And also it's very hard to convince an athlete who is already very well controlled by his nutritionist, by his doctor, who is taking a lot of supplements, to take something else. So instead of that, what I like to work with is acupuncture. And here, the number one technique for me is Master Tung acupuncture. Master Tung has the amazing characteristic of having its own points, and the points are very, very powerful. I've been known to say that some of Master Tung's points are acupuncture's version of herbs, because you can get effects so powerful that you feel like you're actually giving herbs to the patient. Here, it's very important that you have a deep knowledge of the system, because you need to diagnose the patient, you need to see what's wrong with him and what you can improve, and then you will work with these very powerful points to optimize him to the maximum that you can. I've already shared my number one approach to give energy. This can be used either for athletes, for older people, people who just overcame some kind of sickness. You can see here the video. This protocol is based on Master Tung's approach, and all of my athletes are on this protocol and some other points that are used according to diagnosis for each of them. And these are the three most important areas that an acupuncturist is asked to work on by athletes, at least in my experience. And if you want to work with high-level athletes, this is a very demanding job, because the athletes are very goal-oriented. So you will be pressed to deliver results, especially if we're talking about high-level athletes. They're probably already working with a high-level physiotherapist, high-level doctors, high-level trainers. So if you want to be their acupuncturist, you need to be high-level. And in my opinion, if you want to work in this area, you really need to learn these three techniques at least. So I'm talking about being well-versed on balance method, being well-versed on moxa, particularly on the use of the ontake and Japanese moxa, and well-versed on Master Tung acupuncture. Of course, there are other approaches to get similar results, I'm sure, but in my opinion, this is the shorter route. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and share this video with anyone that might benefit from it. And now I'll leave you with a little montage of my travels here to Italy and a little bit of the fight event, so you can check it out and see how it happened, and I'll see you in the next one.